first of all, I would like to introduce you our teacher. First of all, a few things which I want to share with you guys is that you know that Askaria education system, they always emphasize on the personality development skills of the students. So today we have arranged a class in this regard, and we have planned a 12-week classes session for you with Learning English 365. And I am thankful to the team of Learning English 365 that they gave us time. And after the session, you can go on the website of Learning English 365, and there you can find software and app. You can download that app, and there are 6,500 lectures in that, so you can practice more. If any of your friends, family members, if they want more information, you just go on our website, and you can see that there are a number of courses available on that. So today we have Miss Donna. Miss Donna, thank you very much for your time, and sorry for inconvenience. And now you can take 1 hour class, and Miss Donna is a native British teacher from England with us. So hand it over to Miss Donna, please.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully you can all see me. Yeah, my name is Donna. I'm from the United Kingdom. I'm from Birmingham, if any of you know England well. It's the second biggest city in England. And yeah, I've been teaching for a number of years, teaching various subjects, both in the classroom and online. And obviously with the last 12 months or so, it's really moved 100% of the time to online teaching. Okay. So there is a big group today. We're obviously a lot of people, but I do want you to try and take part and contribute to the lesson. That's how you're going to get most out of it if you practice your speaking and answering the questions. Okay, so there's no right or wrong. So we're just going to go through the lesson. And if any of you want to contribute, then you unmute your mic and you answer the question. Okay, I'm not going to respond to your hands raised or any of your chat comments. Okay, this is supposed to be a serious lesson for you to see the kinds of lessons that you can have and how you can improve your English, because I have no doubt that you all need to improve. We all need to improve our language skills. So this lesson is all around socializing. So the things that you do, the things that you say or don't say when you're meeting someone for the first time. Okay? And we're going to have a little review of some yes/no questions and question words. The what, where, why, when, all of those kinds of words. Some of you may know them already, but you can take this as a good review, good practice, a revision of things that you already know. Sometimes it's a good idea to go back to basics. Okay, so when we meet people for the first time, okay, how do you feel about that generally? Do you like it? Or do you feel a little bit shy and awkward? Think about your personality. Okay, are you outgoing? Are you sociable? Or are you quiet? Are you the person in the corner of the room who doesn't want to speak to anyone else? Do you talk to new people at a bus station or on a plane or on a train? Do you like to chat with people you don't know? The person that you happen to be sat next to. If you've never seen them before and you probably won't meet them again. How do you feel about that? And on the screen in front of you, you've got 3 people who all have slightly different personalities. You have, I'm a shy person. I find it difficult to talk with new people. I don't really enjoy it. Okay. Is that you? B, I don't mind meeting people at work because we always have something in common. But at a party, it's always hard for me to talk to strangers. And that's a lot of people, isn't it? You know that if you're doing something for work or as part of your studies, you have more confidence because you're doing it for a purpose than if it's just about you and someone is asking questions about you. And C, I enjoy meeting new people, even on the bus or train. I'm confident and find it easy to chat. Okay, so this person is one of those people that doesn't mind talking to strangers. Is that you? Where do you fit in those? And do you know the vocabulary to describe yourself? If you don't, you've got some useful words on the screen. Just for your own benefit, think about the last time that you met someone new. In the last 12 months, we haven't really met a lot of new people, only online. But what kind of things did you talk about? Okay. What kinds of things do you say to people when you meet them for the first time, to get to know them or just to join in with a conversation? And this is the kind of vocabulary and the kind of questions that we're going to explore more in this lesson. Okay? How do we start those conversations? And what's an appropriate conversation to have in English? And what are the things that you don't say? In English, we talk about breaking the ice. Okay, a nice little phrase or phrase for you with a verb and a noun, break the ice. And we use that to describe how you communicate with someone for the first time. Okay, those little questions that you ask someone just to start a conversation. You've got some examples on the screen. Have a look at them. There's one of those questions that you wouldn't ask someone if you met them for the first time. Which question is it? Does anyone know? If you know, tell me. Barrier, do you know? Johnny Sins, do you know? You've got your hand up. Anyone want to answer? Okay, Rayan, you can answer. I've asked you to unmute. All of these people with their hand up. Someone's not on mute, so can you answer the question? If you're not going to speak, can you please stay on mute? Imran Khan, you're not muted. What's the answer to this question? Okay, I'll tell you. No one actually wants to answer. I will tell you. The question you don't ask someone in English is, how much money do you earn? Okay, you would never ask someone that question if you met them for the first time. And actually, this is a topic of conversation that we wouldn't ask at any time. Okay, even my best friends or members of my family, I wouldn't ask them how much money they earn. Okay, so definitely when I'm meeting a stranger for the first time, whether it's through work or study or just at the bus stop, I wouldn't be asking them how much they earn. But all the other questions, whether they're a student, what do they study, or whether they work and what they like doing, these are all questions that you can ask someone for the first time when you meet them. Okay, they're good opening questions. Okay, we're going to practice, and listen now to a track, okay? These lessons have lots of different activities, including listening and reading and also writing. Okay? And this lesson has got some listening activities as part of it. Okay? So we're going to listen to 31 seconds, the first start of a conversation between Alex and Laura. Okay? We're going to listen to the first part of their conversation, and you've got 2 questions on the screen. Okay? When you're doing your listening skills, it's always a good idea to look at the questions and the possible answers, so you know what you're trying to listen out for when you do the track. Okay. So we have Laura and Alex are, and there are 4 options of where they are. Okay. And the second question is all about what they talk mostly about. Okay. So you're going to listen to the track and you'll try to listen out for the answers to the questions. Let's have another go at this. So you're listening for the answers. Listen for the answers to the questions. Okay.
It's a great day for a barbecue, isn't it?
Yes, we're very lucky with the weather.
I wasn't sure that a barbecue in April was a good idea.
I know what you mean. The weather here can be very unpredictable. Last Saturday, it was pouring with rain.
Yes, perhaps summer has finally arrived. I'm Laura, by the way. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Laura. My name's Alex.
Okay. Did you all get that? Did you get the answers to the questions? Okay. Alex and Laura, where are they? A, B, C, or D? 4 marks if you got C. They're at a barbecue. And 2, what do they talk mostly about? Again, gold star if you got the answer as B, the weather. Okay? We like talking about the weather in the UK because our weather is so changeable and crazy. So yeah, the weather is always a very safe conversation topic. Okay, so more listening next. What are they going to talk about next? We're going to listen to the rest of their conversation and we're going to try and complete the table. Okay, we have the questions so we know what information we're listening out for. So what are their personalities? What are their nationalities, sorry? What are they studying? And what do they say about where they live? Okay, so this is longer this time. This listening is over a minute. Okay, so there's a lot to listen out for. So let's see if we can complete the table with their nationalities, their studies, and where they live.
Nice to meet you too, Laura. My name's Alex. Where are you from?
I'm from Colombia.
Colombia. Wow.
What about you? Where do you come from?
Russia. My family lives in Moscow. Are you a student at the university?
Yes, that's right.
What are you studying?
Physics. What about you? Are you a student too?
Yes, I'm doing a degree in music.
Really? That's much more interesting than physics. What instrument do you play?
Well, the violin mostly, although I can play the piano as well.
That's great. Do you live near here?
Yes, not far away. I usually come to the university on my bike. What about you? Where do you live?
Well, this year I'm staying in one of the student residences. It only takes me about 10 minutes to get to class.
Listen, are you hungry?
Actually, I'm starving.
Me too. I didn't have time for breakfast this morning.
Right. Let's get something to eat before it's all gone.
Right, so that's the rest of the conversation. There's quite a lot of information covered in that. So, Alex, what's his nationality? Who knows? He is Russian. He comes from Russia, so he's Russian. His nationality is Russian. And Laura. Where does she come from? What's her nationality? The nationality, remember, is the adjective. And Laura, well done if you got this. Laura is Colombian. She's from Colombia. She's Colombian. What are they studying? Alex talks about the musical instruments he plays, and he is studying music. So well done if you got that answer. And Laura is studying a very difficult subject, in my opinion. She's studying physics. Okay. So they're their subjects that they're studying at university or college. And what do they say about where they live? This is probably a little trickier, I think, because they say quite a lot about it. So Alex tells us that he lives close to the university. They both talk about how far it is and how they get to university. But the answer to where Alex lives is close to the university. And Laura, where does she live? She lives somewhere different. She stays in student accommodation. Okay, so accommodation that the university or college provide for their students. That's where she lives. So well done if you got all of those questions right. So there was a lot of information there. We're going to have a little practice of question forms now. And we're going to listen for what questions go with these answers. Okay, these are probably things that some of you, if not all of you, have probably covered before, but this is useful revision, okay? Because sometimes we can get the structure of the question format incorrect. They don't always necessarily follow the same pattern. So let's listen again to Alex and Laura talking about where they're from and what they study, and listen in particular for the questions that they ask each other.
Nice to meet you too, Laura. My name's Alex. Where are you from?
I'm from Colombia.
Colombia. Wow.
What about you? Where do you come from?
Russia. My family lives in Moscow. Are you a student at the university?
Yes, that's right.
What are you studying?
Physics. What about you? Are you a student too?
Yes, I'm doing a degree in music.
Really? That's much more interesting than physics. What instrument do you play?
Well, the violin mostly, although I can play the piano as well.
That's great. Do you live near here?
Yes, not far away. I usually come to the university on my bike. What about you? Where do you live?
Well, this year I'm staying in one of the student residences. It only takes me about 10 minutes to get to class.
Listen, are you hungry?
Actually, I'm starving.
Me too. I didn't have time for breakfast this morning.
Right. Let's get something to eat before it's all gone.
So we had quite a few questions there, and we heard the question seeking the same information actually said in different ways, didn't we? So the question that got the answer, I'm from Colombia, was, where are you from? Where are you from? But the question that got the answer, Russia, was slightly different. It was, where do you come from? So where are you from, or where do you come from? Same question, means exactly the same thing. Number 3, the question to that answer was, are you a student at the university? Okay. So a direct question gives a direct answer, yes or no. Are you a student at the university? And number 4, the violin answer. The question again was, what instrument do you play? Okay, so the inference there is musical instrument. What instrument do you play? Number 5, the question was, do you live near here? Do you live near here? And there are other ways you could say that. Do you live close by, for example? And then number 6, the question was, what about you? So the first question was, do you live near here? And Laura answered. And then the follow-up was, and what about you? Okay. And that's a useful question because you can use that in lots of situations. You know, someone asks you a question, you answer them, and then to follow up, you say to them, and what about you? And the last question, actually, I'm starving. The question was, are you hungry? Okay. And I'm sure you know that we use starving in English to describe being very hungry. And we're not literally starving, obviously, but it just means that we're very hungry. So just a review of how we ask questions with the verb to be. Okay. And you've got this on your screen. You can see it, you can read it. When we form the questions with be, the verb to be, are, is, whatever, we place the verb before the subject. Okay. And as it says on the screen, this is called subject-verb inversion. And all it means is you swap the places. So the statement would be, you are hungry. And the question is, are you hungry? Okay, so if you're telling someone that they're hungry, you say, you are hungry. If you're asking them if they are hungry, you say, are you hungry? Okay, so that's all it means, subject-verb inversion. You swap them, you swap places. You are a student at the university. Are you a student at the university? Okay. And also on the screen, we've got some questions that begin with WH and how. We've got the where and how far. And all of those questions, you don't answer that. You have to give information in reply to them. Okay? If you ask a question with the verb to be, are you hungry? Are you busy? Are you late? You can expect a yes, no answer. Are you tired? Yeah. Yes or no. But if you ask like, where are you? Or how far are you from the university? You're expecting the person to give you some information. It's not a yes or no answer. So we've got some practice on the screen. So have a look at them. You've got 9 statements and you are turning them into yes, no questions. Okay. So you've got an example on the screen. Is he thirsty? From the statement, he is thirsty. So have a look at them. Do you know how to change them? We've got Joanne is a chef. The question is Joanne a chef? Okay, you're just taking the subject, is Joanne, and is the verb. You just change them to change the order, the word order. Tony and Robin are on vacation. The question would be, are Tony and Robin on vacation? Your apartment is on Warwick Street. Is your apartment on Warwick Street? Ben is at the office. Is Ben at the office? Okay, so you get the idea. So it will be, obviously, if you're talking about other people, you are talking is or are as the first question. Okay, so always remember that are is for you and the plurals. And is if you're talking about one person, the third person. Here, like Joanne and Ben, or San Diego or Santiago. So if you're talking about one thing or one person, it's is. But you or multiple people, then it's are. Okay. Always remember to get your subject verb relation right. Okay. Sometimes we can get those wrong when we're asking a question. When we do, we form questions with other verbs, we use do, okay, before the subject. So we've got examples here, we've got have, so we'd put do in, the form of do that is relevant. So does for the one person you're talking about, that third person, or do if it's you or they. Okay, so with other verbs, other than verb to be, we put do in or does. And we do the same whether it's in the present tense or the past tense. Okay. And you've got some examples on the screen. So I'll just go through a couple of them with you. You get the idea. Okay. And remember, when we use do or does, we just use the main part of the verb, the infinitive of the verb. Okay. The subject-verb agreement goes with the subject. Tony has a dog. Does Tony have a dog? Gilda lives in Madrid. Does Gilda live in Madrid? Okay. So have a think. Do you know this? Can you do this automatically when you're speaking and reading? And when we're talking about a place, we will often say, we use where, obviously, don't we? If we're asking someone where they ate or where they went to school, yeah. Where did you go to school? Where are you? So we're asking questions about a place, we use where. Okay, we'll skip over this. And always important for you to practice your word orders. You know, when we're asking questions, always remember that we swap. We always swap the subject and the verb over. Okay, so the verb comes before the subject. Okay? Always when you're asking a question. Okay, we're going to do some reading now. We're going to read an article that gives us some advice about speaking to people for the first time. Okay, you've got some things on the screen, some statements on the screen. Have a look at them. Okay. Which ones of these do you think are not good advice? And why do you think? Have a think. Why do you think the advice wouldn't be good? You're meeting someone for the first time, remember. These are all about meeting people for the first time. Some of them are absolutely fine. Some of them are absolutely fine. Some of them aren't. What do you think? So, number one, you can start by talking about the party, meeting, or place you are in. Yeah, I think so. It's quite a good way in, isn't it? Wherever you are. How long have you been here? Do you come here often? How do you know the hosts? Or if it's a work thing or a study meeting, where do you study? Why did you come to this meeting? What brought you here today? Number two, talk about health problems. What do we think? No, you wouldn't ask someone about their health problems when you're speaking to them for the first time. Obviously, you might say to them, how are you? That's a good, how are you today? How are you feeling today? But you wouldn't actually ask them details about their health problems. Okay? Sometimes people might want to talk about them, but that's their choice. Good idea to ask the person about their work or studies. Yes, we've already seen this. It's a good way in. The weather is an easy way to break the ice, always. Oh, it's a bit hot today. Oh, look at the rain. It's windy, isn't it? It's always easy to talk about music, sports, hobbies, and pastimes. Yes, I mean, particularly if you're in a party setting, or you're there for personal reasons. Okay, that's always a good opener. It's always a good thing to break the ice, asking people what they do in their spare time. You probably wouldn't do this if you were in a more formal setting, if you were there for work or study, but you may do. People always like to talk about how much money they have in the bank. Some people do, but no, I don't think so. You can make a compliment about the person's clothes or hair. I like that tie. Oh, that's a nice bag. Oh, where did you get that dress? It can be appropriate, but really it's also maybe not appropriate to compliment somebody. Okay, it depends on the situation and it depends on the person, and also how it's said, So it's not a given, this one, that you would always compliment somebody, because it might make them feel uncomfortable. People generally like to talk about past travel experiences or future plans for a vacation. Yes, everyone likes to think about something they're looking forward to and talk about it. Okay? And in the UK, I don't know if it's the same everywhere else, there's almost a little joke that every time you go to the hairdressers to get your hair cut, the hairdresser will ask you, are you going on holiday this year? It's just one of those standard things that they ask you when they're washing your hair. So you've got some useful subjects there to talk about with people you don't know. And the two that you definitely wouldn't do are health and money. And I would be careful about number 7 as well. Okay, it's not always appropriate. So have a think. Do you know the vocabulary that goes with these topics? Okay, could you ask somebody about these, and could you talk about them yourself? If someone asks you, what do you do at the weekend? What do you do in your spare time? Can you answer the question? Okay. You ask them, they describe what they do, and then they'd say, and what about you? Okay, what about you? Can you answer? Do you know the vocabulary? So you've got a little reading on the screen now. So have a look at it and have a look at the questions. You've got them in a little grey box on the side here. Okay. So have a quick read of the screen and have a look at the questions. So which of the conversation starters is not a question? So far, we've talked about what questions can you ask people when you meet them for the first time. But in this text, we have something that's not a question. And it's this. Wow, there are a lot of people here today. It's an opening statement. Okay? It's not really expecting a response, but you might, if someone said that to you, you'd say, I know, yes, there are a lot of people. I wasn't expecting it, or something like that. Okay, so it's a conversation starter, but not a question. What does it say about asking someone's name? Is it always okay to ask someone's name? Well, the truth is, it depends actually on the context. Okay, it may not be appropriate in very formal situations. Okay, or if you're meeting a very important person. Okay, you need to be careful, don't we? Okay, so yes, if it's a work or study thing, or you're at a party at someone's house or a barbecue, something like that, yes, you'd ask someone's name. But if you're doing something very formal for your university or your job and you're meeting someone very much senior to you, then it probably isn't appropriate to ask what their name is. Maybe you're expected to know what their name is, so you shouldn't be asking. But also sometimes people, they don't want to tell you, okay? They're very important. Okay. So we've got more of the article now. So have a look, have a skim, read of it on the screen. And we've got some questions related to the text in the grey box again. So let's have a look then. This is all about getting into the conversation. So number one, who or what is so-and-so? Have you come across that before? So we've got, how do you know so-and-so? Okay. If you wouldn't actually say so-and-so, okay, that they're giving you an example in this article. Okay, so-and-so, you would replace that with the person's name. Okay, so how do you know John? How do you know Laura? How do you know Alex? Okay, so here it's just given as an expression to replace the name of the person. Okay, so you wouldn't say, how do you know so-and-so? You would actually give the name of the person. Okay. But so-and-so, it's quite useful if you don't know the person's name. Okay. What kinds of questions can you ask if you work in the same office as someone or for the same organisation? Okay. If you don't know, obviously you don't know the person, this is you're meeting someone for the first time. If you work or you study in a big organisation or a big university, you're not going to know everyone. Okay, we don't always know everyone that does the same thing as us. So the kinds of questions that you might want to ask are, what do you do here? You know, or what are you studying? Or, you know, what's your job here? You might say, who is your manager? You know, who do you work for? Or you might say, who's your lecturer? Or, you know, who is supervising your studies? You know, that kind of thing. Okay. And if you were meeting a person from a different city or country, what questions could you ask them? Okay, so you meet someone in your own town, but they're from somewhere else. What can you ask them? What do you think? You could ask them, you know, when did you move here? Why did you move here? Right? And do you miss your hometown? No. And what do you think of it here? You know, all those little questions, okay, that are just not complicated. They're simple answers, but they really help you start a conversation. And if you do this when you're practicing your English will also improve a lot. And always, as I always say, think about how you would answer the questions. Okay, do you know the vocabulary? Do you know the words to answer these types of questions if someone asked you? And we have a little conversation here. And it's there's gaps in the statement. So we are being asked to complete the gaps. So where we've got a big line, what words go in there? And we've got a choice in the grey box on the right of what should go in there. So have a quick read, and then we'll just go through the answers so you can see. So we've got, hi, I'm Sandra. Nice to meet you. I'm James. What's James going to say next? From all the choices in this box. Well, I think the most appropriate one is, are you enjoying the party? Okay, so A will go there. And Sandra says, well, sort of. I don't know anyone. You're the first person I've met here. And James says, oh, well. What goes next? Okay, if you're not sure, look at what James says next. It's his party. So, oh, well. Do you know Jules? Do you know Jules? It's his party. And Sandra says, yes, I know Jules. I work with him. What about you? We've had this a lot, haven't we? What about you? How do you know Jules? How do you know Jules? B. He's my sister's husband. We're family. Oh, do you know these? Do you know other people at the party? Not really. Most of these people work with Jules. What comes next? And always look at the clue at what comes after the question. Okay, James asked Sandra a question and look at her answer, only 2 weeks. So obviously he's asking for a period of time. So E, how long have you worked at the same company? And Sandra says, only 2 weeks. Like Jules, I'm a lawyer. Okay. So what's the obvious follow-up question? Is what does James do? You know, we're having a conversation. You know, you're asked a question, so you ask the same question back to the person. What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? So D. And James says he's an architect. And he actually designed the house, Jules and April's house. And his question, the last one we have on our list, is F. Do you like it? Okay. So you can see there how the questions go backwards and forwards and how these create a conversation, okay, using the different question words. Okay, so if you don't know them, please start practicing them. So we're not going to listen to Alex and Laura again. We've listened to them already, and we've seen the types of questions that people ask in circumstances when they meet people. Okay, we've listened and we've read, and we've also done an activity, sort of putting the questions in the appropriate places in a conversation. So having done all that, I want you to think about what questions you would ask someone at an event. If you were at a barbecue like Alex and Laura, what kind of questions would you ask? Okay. Have a think and make a note of them and practice saying them. Practice saying them out loud. Okay. The more we practice our languages, the better we get and the quicker we learn. And also we become more confident more quickly. And this is a little activity that you can take offline. Okay, so you've got two people at the barbecue with Alex and Laura, and you know some information about them. You've got Octavio, who's Italian, and Valerie, who's Canadian. Okay. And you've got some suggested topics to ask questions about on the left-hand side. So what kind of questions would you ask them to get the answers? For example, we know Octavio is from Padua in Italy. So how might you ask the question? We saw an example earlier. You can say, where are you from? Where do you come from? Same question. Well, you get the same answer. Same question, different words. And another example, what are you studying? I study medicine, he would say. So have a think about how you would form the questions to Octavio and Valerie if you met them at an event, you know, an informal event. Okay, not if you were meeting them at work or college, but if you were meeting them at a barbecue or a friend's house for the first time. What questions would you ask to get those answers? Okay, everyone, that's the end of the lesson. I hope you found it useful. I hope you saw the range of activities that come with this, this platform that I've used today. Let's see, there's some listening, some reading. There would be speaking if we were a much smaller group. And there's also some grammar and some practice of using the grammar lessons that you've learned. So each lesson does really encompass quite a lot. If you want to practice your language in your own time, there's also the Learning English 365 app that you can use to practice. Okay, well, I'll let my colleague talk more about that.
Okay, Donna, thank you very much. Thanks for your time. It was really an informative session for me. I have received a lot of messages from our students that they have joined the session a lot and they are interested to take more sessions as well. So it was really a great session and a great afternoon here. And we really enjoyed your session today, and too much informative it was. So everybody attending the session, I'm thankful to you, Donna. I'm once again very thankful to you, and all of the students who have attended the session today. I'm very grateful to you, and the teachers who made this possible. I am also grateful to them as well, principals and everybody. What they can do is that they can just go on the website. They would find an app over there, and you can download the app, and you would find 6,500 lectures over there. So for more practice, you can go on the website, and you can you can share this with your friends and families as well. So thank you very much, Donna. It was really an exciting and great session. Once again, thanks a lot. Thank you, everybody. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.